Friday is a podcast about dark romance and monster smut. So if you're not down for weird shit, this is not the show for you. Content may include explicit sexual description, explicit language, conversations about human to human monster, and monster to monster sexual activities. Masturbation, questionable consent, morally gray ethics, murder out of jealousy, BDSM themes and tropes, fictional pregnancy, violence, emotional gut-wrenching story arcs, and all of the kinks. Oh, and dubious insertion of inanimate objects. We're multicultural, multipolitical, multisexual, multiracial group. We believe in inclusiveness, body positivity, bodily autonomy, and human rights for all. But we also like talking about characters getting railed by monsters and humans alike. Overall, prepare for cackling, tangents, general unhinged commentary. We're probably going to annoy the majority of the general population, but if you don't like it, instead of clutching your pearl necklace, you can just not listen. Okay, thanks, bye! Something was making sound in Kate's living room. Probably the cat attacking the Christmas tree again. Fuck, she thought. Her dream had just been getting good and sexy. But that was Kate's life, she thought. Cock-blocked even in dreams. Although, maybe she wasn't awake at all, because when she blinked open her eyes, standing before her was the sexiest man she had ever seen. And he looked like Santa Claus? Well, if Santa Claus had been a Playgirl centerfold, he had all of the typical Santa attributes. White hair? Check. White beard? A bit more trim than was traditional, but check. Red suit? Check. But this man looked like if Santa played rugby and chopped wood in his spare time. His chest was broad and his thighs were thick. And holy shit, he was sporting quite the cock stand. Yep, still dreaming, she thought. She ran a finger absently around her nipple. Merry fucking Christmas to me. And that was The Naughty List by Ellie Mae McGregor. I'm Erin, and I'm reading A Soul of Ash and Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout.
I'm Sara 1, and I'm reading Rudolph by Minerva Howell.
I'm Marie, and I'm reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros.
I'm Sara 2, and I'm reading Frosted by Juno Delight. Welcome to episode 6 of Feral Friday Podcast, Unhinged and Unbothered, a podcast where we talk about smut. That was cute. That was a cute book. Okay.
Yeah, I did really like this book.
Santa brought a package in his pants.
What's stuffed in this stocking?
What's in the box?
She's going to grab that sack.
Oh yeah, no. That is a little tidbit from one of our bingo books. If you want to read some silly, stupid Christmas theme stuff, I would say this is a home intruder meet cute. The Naughty List. If you were into that kind of abduction scenario, this is for you.
Looking forward to reading it.
I don't know. I think they did a very good job being very witty for the amount of pages they had in here, because this one is actually a fairly short book. I want to say it's under 100. Let's see. It's 59 pages. I wish they wrote 10 more pages. That would have made it would have made
that would have been perfect.
10 more pages of sexy times. Yeah.
I was like, why?
Oh, that's why. But,
right.
That's why. But they had some good like Santa background lore.
I like that there was more than one Santa
appreciate.
brother. We like a family affair to an extent.
Ooh.
No incest. Yeah. No incest
to
on this
an
podcast.
Extent.
No. It's a hard no.
No, thank you.
That's one of our lines.
That's one of the lines, yes.
But they can share a girl.
Absolutely. They just can't. All right, let's clarify. If it's brothers, they can share a girl, but their peepees cannot touch. But if they are stepbrothers, not blood related, their peepees can touch. I would say there can be no blood relation, and I'm talking to you, American Queen. No.
No. So no incest, no pee pee,
No
no
incest,
poo
no
poo.
pee pee, no poo poo. That's exactly what.
No animals. Actual
Oh yeah,
animals.
no animals.
No animals.
No real animals.
Right.
Yeah. But normally, so for these episodes, we all come in talking about one book. We have a special treat this episode because
A
I
Christmas
would say
present,
this
if
is
you
our
will.
Christmas gift to everyone else, is that we are going to be experiencing this together. Um, we're going to be reading Gingerbread Madness, an anthropomorphic feeder satire erotica poem by E.A. Ladau. Ladou? Ladou. It's
Ladou?
Ladous.
Let's go with Ladou.
So
I
I
want to say it's
apologize if
Ladou.
I've said that wrong. We'll add that to Whoopsie Corner in a later episode. But this is what we're going to be covering. We're going to be experiencing this 13-page long erotica all together for once.
And it's going to be
So it
kind of
could be
like my dad
Yes.
wrote a porno, like
Yes.
where like you're going to get the live reactions, live,
Yes. So this could be a
commentary.
gift or
You're
a
going to hear
curse.
me groan in pain and maybe the impact of me swerving into the ditch. We'll see.
Mhm. And I won't even edit out our mistakes.
It's going to be
So-
perfect so you can see how illiterate some of us are so you
Yeah.
won't know which
my
one of
God.
us needs more than one take to do the cold open.
That's some added pressure that I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah.
I've had a glass and a half of wine already.
I've had nothing.
So,
I'm sober.
and I have had very little sleep. So this is going to be
I've had
a
Dayquil
rodeo.
on an empty stomach. Let's
sorts.
go. Yeehaw.
Oh,
Buckle up.
yeah.
Alcohol, but
The scissor.
Cowabunga, my dudes. Let's go. All right, so Marie is going to be
Oh,
beginning
right.
this sweet and sticky tale for us.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
So I'll go on
Okay,
and
so I
let
guess-
it rip,
Let's
Marie.
go.
Whew. Okay, chapter 1. Nicole and Keith's bakery was rounding the corner into their busy season, the dreaded season, the holidays. They hired just enough workers to get them through the day, and they would do the majority of the baking at night. Unfortunately, that was just about the only quality time they got to spend with each other. Their orders more than doubled that year, and that meant double the baking and double the taste testing. Nicole gained 30 pounds in November alone, prepping pumpkin, spice, cookies, and apple pies.
That's absurd.
Keith didn't mind though. He loved her at every size. He loved her when they first met, and she was a healthy 140-pound young woman just starting cooking school, and he loved her 2 years later after she put on about 100 pounds. Normally freshmen did the freshman 15, but freshmen learning to cook did the freshman 50. That's actually
Jesus Christ.
he especially
That's
loved her now at the nice round weight of 300 pounds. You know what they say,
I got
don't
a lot of
trust a skinny
questions.
chef.
Like I get what
Yes.
they're going for, but 140 to 300
That
in a year?
I'd be worried, and so as someone who went to cooking school, you
That's a health
don't
issue.
gain that weight. I will say, in cooking school, at least the school I went to was like military style, so like your classes were like real life work shifts. It wasn't normal like regular school hours, and a lot of people like struggled because you were running on no energy, having to do school and then a regular work schedule on top of it. I
Also 30 pounds in a month, November alone. Like you need to go get your
Yep.
hormones checked.
But I'm also concerned as to why this is necessary. in
So
this story.
I'm gonna
Where are we
say
going
in the
with
title,
this?
it's a feeder. It's a feeder thing. So
Okay.
Oh, is that
yeah,
what
that's
that
what that means.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
I
what that
hate it.
All right,
Okay, let's
go
go.
on,
All right,
Marie.
let's go.
All right.
Okay. Where was I? Okay, here we go. She still had the same face, albeit maybe slightly chubbier cheeks. But now she had the most gorgeous plump body he had ever seen. Every fold and roll was soft. Her little stretch marks that started at the top of her ass extended into her lower back, and it was like a secret only the two of them shared. He might be only half her size now, but he loved laying down on top of her and being hugged by every inch of her fluffy body. One of their employees, Joanna, took an order for 20 dozen gingerbread cookies, which would take up 2 out of the 3 ovens for the first few hours until they were finished. Not to mention the amount of time it would take to mix everything together on top of every other order they had to do, and on top of the walk-in customers they had. "I miss you," Nicole said to Keith, touching the back of his shoulder while he kneaded her gingerbread dough. The gingerbread
About
dough.
to say.
I know.
For clarification, I was like, oh.
I'm like, what? Are we gonna get into like her gingerbread dough? Are we getting breast milk cookies out of this at the end of the day?
Oh no. Don't go there.
Is she tan?
Okay. I know it'll all be over soon, he said back, turning his head slightly to kiss her on the forehead. Nicole was the real talent and brains behind the whole bakery after growing up in a flavor-repressed household full of vegetables and boiled chicken.
Sad. No, now we know she's
She got
white.
to college. She was ready.
Now we know Nicole was white.
Okay, by the time she got to college, she was ready to experience every flavor and ingredient she could. It took her less than a semester to realize her first true love would be pastries and carbohydrates. She loved the way a single spice could change the flavor of any cookie, the way chocolate chips had a different flavor when they were fresh out of the oven, and the smile she got to see on everyone's face the second they took a bite from her confections. Keith was more the moral support of the operation. He was good for working long hours and doing a lot of the grunt work at the store. Cleaning, bulk mixing, letting Nicole taste test as they went off course. And above all else, he was a shoulder to cry on for Nicole when their business wasn't doing well. Fortunately for them, that wasn't the case this year. There seemed to be a hipster revival in the area they lived in, and people only wanted locally baked fresh goods instead of store-bought preservative-laced
Gentrification!
Where did they-
Williamsburg.
Brooklyn.
Every child needed cupcakes for their class on their birthday. Every couple needed a dozen mocha-dipped strawberries on Valentine's Day. Every holiday-themed party at every big company in the area seemed to want dozens and dozens of cookies from their bakery, and they could hardly keep up. When Joanna finished taking the order for the gingerbread cookies, Nicole was both happy and defeated at the same time. They wanted to look into buying a bulk mixer to cut the time it took to make massive amounts of dough by more than half, but they just didn't have the money for it yet. A bulk order of 30 dozen gingerbread cookies would take a big chunk out of it, though.
All right. They got a business plan. I'm not mad about it. Like, they're figuring it out. All right. Nicole had an assembly line system anytime they did a bulk order. She would line up all the mixing bowls and add each ingredient into each. That way, after all the ingredients were added, she could have Keith mix each bowl, and she would taste test as she rolled out the dough and used the cookie cutter to make the gingerbread men and lady shapes. "You should eat a few before they go in," Keith said. "Why, so you can watch me eat them instead of working?" Nicole answered, smiling slyly at him. She knew him all too well. She knew he loved watching her eat and put on weight. Maybe. "We don't have time to play tonight. We have to get these done, plus there's raw egg in this one. I don't have time to get sick," Nicole said, taking the edges of the uncut dough and rolling it back out to make more gingerbread people. They finally finished after working an extra 4 hours after closing, leaving the cookies blank so they could cool off and planning to add the frosting the next day when they came in early. After making sure everything was unplugged, the lights were shut off, and the door was locked, Nicole and Keith went home to enjoy a well-deserved rest before starting it all over again the next day.
This reminds me of that Thanksgiving one we read that was too
Oh, the
realistic.
gangbang one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it does. Yeah. I
Like,
will say this person
where it's
definitely probably worked in a bakery because this is very
right.
detailed.
So it's like, look at how much I
Yep.
know.
All right. Chapter 2. Nicole woke up the next day and hopped in the shower. Keith followed her shortly afterwards, not waiting his turn. I just want to get there quicker, he said, grinning ear to ear and massaging soap all over Nicole's body, lifting up her rolls and getting under her creases. Right. I love all bodies, just some things feel like a caretaker.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? She answered, turning her back to him and letting him rub down every inch of her. He took an extra few seconds to run his fingers along her stretch marks before reaching around and rubbing her stomach, resting his forehead on the back of her head. She could
Please don't do that.
just I feel like
Please don't caress my parts. That's so not sexy.
I think like I'm okay with it now. If there is belly button insertion, that's where I'm going to be driving into the cliff. That's like I'm trying to. He's so into the feeder. He's trying to feed her first mouth.
I hate it.
Oh God, I'm not sorry.
Need that.
Now you know what goes through my head when I read these books. All right.
Amazing.
She could feel his cock getting harder and poking her back. It had been so long since they were intimate. She didn't blame him for trying. I would love to, sweetheart, but we don't have the time. We have to finish the order, she pleaded with him, still letting him use his hands to explore her. Can we do stuff tonight? We don't have any more orders. We'll have time, he said, letting the water spray over his shoulder and down her back to rinse off. Yes, sir, she agreed, lathering shampoo into her hair and then turning around to wash his. How big is their shower? I want to know for myself. I want a shower that big, though. Like, just to have enough room to do that. That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining one of those like,
the big ones.
square showers, like standard showers.
Nice. I like that idea. I like this
All glass.
part. I like the imagining their home improvement. They got to the bakery early and met Joanna there to start on icing the cookies. It was a mostly quick process. You just outline the cookies and frosting, make a little face, use some sprinkles or gumdrops, or a little circular hard candies to highlight parts of their outfit. Keith kept dipping the little pieces of broken off cookies into the icing and then shoving it into Nicole's mouth. Taste test! He'd yell out. There's no way that's how we'd have to yell it. No other way.
No other way.
And she would turn her head and stick out her tongue, waiting patiently for him to feed her. Joanna kept commenting on how they were such a cute couple, but little did she know this was basically foreplay for them.
She was being passive aggressive. She was just like, oh, you guys are so cute. Fucking stop
Just
it.
like, my boss was just sexually harassing me.
If Keith wasn't sitting behind the prep table, Joanna would have noticed his raging erection, threatening to tear open the zipper of his jeans. Yeah, that's not okay.
No.
I'm calling HR. I'm calling OSHA at this point, yes.
With Keith.
After a few hours, they were finally finished in time for Joanna to go home from her shift and Luke to come in and deliver them for some companies after hours holiday party. Before long, he returned, but instead of coming back empty-handed, he came back with what looked like over half the boxes they baked. Why are those back? Nicole said, staring in panic. They only wanted 13 dozen cookies, not 30. Joanna must have heard them incorrectly. Must not have heard them correctly over the phone, Luke stuttered. What the fuck are we going to do with like 200 gingerbread cookies? We can't sell these before the end of the day. This is bad.
Oh, no.
Keith stared at them wide-eyed and still trying to do the math in his head to figure out how they were going to offload that many of one type of cookie within the next few hours. They couldn't take all their other cookies off the shelves. That would kill their assorted dozen business. They couldn't cold call businesses and ask them if they wanted 204 gingerbread cookies because that would be nuts. Tell me why no one fact checked. I feel like you repeat back the order at least 10 times. And the
Multiple times.
And the payment?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did that
I
not
got
alert
questions.
somebody?
Anyway, Sarah, take it
Many,
away so now
many.
we can get gross.
All right. Oh, God, I already hate this. Here we go. I think we're just going to have to eat the cost, Nicole said, winking at Keith. Without missing a beat, Keith knew exactly what she meant, and he was suddenly a little more thankful for Joanna's little fuck-up.
I would like to be a little
They
fuck
put
up.
the boxes...
Yeah,
Claiming
I
that
will
one?
be the next little fuck up. Thank you. That's what we'll move Oopsie Corner to. Someone's little fuck up. Yep.
Little fuck-up. All right. They put the boxes of cookies on the back prep table, so it was tormenting them all day. You could have cut the sexual tension between them with a knife. They couldn't even speak to each other the rest of the shift. Really?
Ew.
Luke thought it was because they were upset about spending all that time making them, and now they weren't even getting paid for most of them. What?
He only knew.
That doesn't make sense. Anyways, I'll buy a couple boxes so it all doesn't go to waste. We don't mind eating cookies days after they were baked in my house. The more stale, the better, Luke said, trying to be nice and fix what he viewed as a dire situation. No, that's okay. We'll just donate it or something and use it as a tax write-off, Keith spat out, trying not to sound too eager. After cleaning up, Luke left for the night, leaving just Nicole and Keith alone in the shop. Fuck. Okay. They went to the back prep table where all the cookies were waiting for Nicole to devour them. All
204.
Is she gonna eat all 204?
I'm
Stop it.
like, all right, you keep reading.
My stomach is doing
I'm
somersaults
gonna go
just
look up
thinking of
and see
that.
what the max of saltine crackers it is that you can eat, and then we'll figure out the math for gingerbread while you.
Okay. Look, this is just diabetes. Like instantly. Keith walked over. Typo. Keith walked over to the smoke detector and unscrewed it before sitting on one of the stools and lighting a cigarette. In the bakery? Oh,
No.
That's a big
no.
No.
That's disgusting. All right. Where do you want me to start? Nicole asked, unbuttoning the top of her shirt and untucking it from her waistband. She kept the shirt mostly on, exposing her cleavage and giving Keith a better view if any pieces should fall down. I'm sorry, listeners. I'm sorry. You can sit on the chair at the prep table. You don't have to sit on the ground. We haven't mopped it yet, Keith said affectionately. Nicole unboxed the cookies and picked out one with the most frosting. She lapped the frosting up with her tongue, making sure to get every sugary bit before she ate the first cookie. Tell me about your day while you eat, Keith said, trying to get her to eat messily so little crumbs would fall out of her mouth and onto her chest. I hate it. I hate it. Well, that would be a pretty boring story. We had literally the exact same day as each other, Nicole said, stuffing another cookie into her mouth, trying to chew between each word. From swallow. The moment we woke up, she managed to get out while biting the legs off another gingerbread man. We've been in the same exact place, so there's no story to tell. She finished her sentence right as she finished eating the cookie and swallowed it down. Okay, then tell me about new recipes you want to try out, Keith said. He had no clue what all of the spices and types of sugars and methods of baking Nicole was talking about half of the time. But hearing her talk passionately about something she loved doing, especially while she was stuffing her face with their fresh product, was especially erotic to him.
Yep. I'm like, are you gonna make it through this?
No, I'm not. Only a couple more paragraphs, it's fine. Well, I want to try marbling cookie flavors together, like when people do an ice cream twist, but with baking, she said while licking the frosting hair off of a gingerbread lady, then going to the refrigerator and grabbing the bowl
on top of the
icing.
Cookies. On top of the...
As if 204 cookies
I did,
wasn't
so
enough.
I did find the stats. I couldn't find how many you should eat, but the professional competitive eater, Matt Megatoad Stoney from California, devoured 203 Chips Ahoy cookies in a gallon of milk, and it took him 27 minutes and 33 seconds.
That's
so I'm
vile.
assuming it also said they weighed it out and it was 13 pounds. So that's what we're
That's
looking at for frame
disgusting.
of mind.
Okay.
So somebody's. I mean, I'm not surprised somebody
Yeah,
else would have
it's
done
the
that in real
competitive
life.
eaters.
Oh,
Like
not at all.
what's the
Also-
hot dog guy?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. My
I feel like
husband knows,
every
though.
husband knows the hot dog guy. Yep.
Yeah. And it's so gross.
Every husband wants to
Oh,
be the
don't
hot
say that.
dog guy.
Oh, it's so gross.
This is
I
let me just a
hope
real
not.
clear PSA to my husband who will listen to this. You will never be the hot dog man, nor will I let you. I love you. I want you here
Please
for
don't
a long
try.
time.
It's a normal. I
love
let you.
You will not be the hot dog man. Period. Proceed.
End of story.
Yep.
I think if we swirled flavors together, like gingerbread, chocolate, or strawberry vanilla, then people will buy the regular flavors and then want to try the marbled flavor just for the novelty, she said, dipping the cookie into the bowl of icing and then biting off the head. Nicole paused for a few seconds to finish her cookie and then took the bowl over to the microwave.
No.
Yeah. She heated the
No.
frosting up so it was warm and drippy instead of cold and hard.
Drippy.
Oh no. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Here we go. Keith unzipped his pants and started to stroke himself outside of his boxers. Only Nicole would think to heat up frosting to let herself get covered in it, he thought. Before he could even suggest to her that she should let it drip all over her, she took off her shirt and unhooked her bra, letting her tits bounce out as soon as it was unclasped. Nicole dipped one of the gingerbread men in icing and then brought it back over top her chest, letting the warm icing drip down onto her nipples. Do you want me to lick it up? Nicole asked him, waiting for his command.
Wait, she can lift her boobs up to reach her nipple? Like, to reach her nipple, to reach her mouth? Like, I'm like trying to think of the, like, maybe?
The second book that happened in. That happened in another
Where
one
they could
recently.
lift their whole boob up. Mine just have, I just think
Yep.
mine haven't
And it was
traveled
just
self
like
enough to
that.
get this done.
I mean, as a woman of Nicole's age and having had been that weight at some point in my life, there's no bouncing happening.
There's just like plumping.
I'm just like, I'm not to body shame her, but just that the writing is wrong.
Right.
I would like
There
to
might be
recommend them.
jiggling, but there's no bouncing. There's too much weight. It's called gravity. Sorry.
I would recommend they try wax play, like candles, if they like
Yeah,
warm things
Absolutely.
like that.
Maybe not something that's going to give Nicole a yeast infection later. But,
Yeah.
or diabetes.
or
either
diabetes.
one. Are we
Got
on
that.
almost the last chunk? All right.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Whew. Final
Final
stretch.
stretch.
Hold on, Keith said, dropping his pants and walking over to the cabinet. He grabbed a container of rainbow sprinkles and brought a spoonful to each nipple, making them stick. He really used a spoon? Like, why not just start flicking them at this point?
Gotta be clean.
Now you can lick them, he smiled at her, going over to the cabinet and grabbing every type of topping he could. He wanted to make her his own little cookie topped with all sorts of sweetness he could make her eat.
I hope they're using a separate container.
Nicole licked.
Because this is a professional bakery. This is a health hazard.
So bad. Yeah. Nicole licked each nipple, and before swallowing, she dropped to her knees and took Keith's cock out from his boxers, stroking it lightly and letting his tip rest on her tongue. Ugh.
What?
With all the frosting and the sprinkles.
But then how is she gonna eat 175 more
Gonna
cookies?
shove it up his ass.
Ugh.
They're gonna
Yeah,
tell
they're
us.
good. I
They're
know.
gonna tell us.
They'll let us know.
Oh,
We're about to
he
find
was-
out.
He was leaking out pre-cum right onto the sprinkles.
Oh.
And she kept squishing the frosting
No.
slash sprinkle slash cum mixture in her mouth.
Nope,
to
I'm
mix
dead
it
in
all
the
up.
ditch.
Ugh.
That's it for me. That just
His sperm is
Oh my
the frosting.
Oh, I hate it.
okay.
Keith picked up another gingerbread cookie and shoved it all at once into her mouth. How? She has a cock in
I
there.
thought it was just,
Right?
is it on the tip of her tongue? So is she trying to chew with her tongue sticking?
Yeah.
Is she chewing like a toddler then?
What?
Like,
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, God. Okay. Letting her chew it slowly while she stared up into his eyes. How romantic. He stood her back up and had her sit on the chair so he could start painting her tits with frosting. Nicole didn't wait for him to give her another cookie. She took 2 in one hand and started to devour them. Are we? Anybody got a cookie
I
count
can't.
going
I'm
on?
walking it
I'm
out.
at
Oh,
like
no.
at least
No.
7, I think. Okay. Keith dipped his hand into the frosting and then smeared it all over Nicole's tits, leaving a nice white sugary canvas for him. He started with mini chocolate chips, putting them in small clusters on her tits.
Oh, stop it.
Nicole helped herself to cookie after cookie while waiting for Keith to finish his titty toppings masterpiece.
That's mine.
Pity
mine.
toppings.
Pity toppings.
Oh my God. She had eaten close to 24 cookies by the time he was finished.
Okay,
Yep.
so we got to
wasn't
count.
showing any
Nope.
signs of
Full
slowing down.
steam ahead.
No.
She loved letting Keith play with her while she ate. She spent so many years not knowing the pleasure of good food, and now without food, she didn't feel. And now without food, she didn't
That
feel
is
gratified.
still an eating disorder.
After covering
That's-
her,
That's an eating disorder, yeah.
yeah, it is. That's trauma
For the
and an
folks,
eating disorder
Therapy
for the
all
folks
wrapped
at
up in
home,
one.
if you feel like this is a safe place. This is a safe space, but that is an eating disorder. It goes
Please
both
go to-
ways.
Please
go
We
speak to
care about you.
someone.
Please
Yeah,
go
go
talk
to-
to someone.
Go to therapy. Yeah.
After covering her with chocolate chips, more sprinkles, Oreo crumbs, and little metallic sugar balls, Keith stepped back to admire his artwork. I feel like this looks like a kid's finger painting. He leaned in to kiss her and taste her gingerbread flavored mouth. Lick up as much of that as you can, Keith ordered her. When Nicole, lowercase n, was a slim 140 in college, she would never have been able to move her tits in a way that would let her lick them. But now that she was pushing 300, her tits were huge, and she could suck on each nipple. She bent her head down, getting some frosting and sprinkles on the rolls. Her neck and chin created when she looked down, and raised one of her tits to her mouth, licking up the toppings Keith placed on her bare skin.
Yeah.
I just need a minute.
Just
Mhm.
hit.
The chocolate.
Sorry, the chocolate chip is gonna look like poop smears. Is the chocolate gonna?
I was wondering when it was
going
gonna get to
We're
this.
getting there. The chocolate chips started to become melty from her own body heat, and she could see them starting to fall and smear her belly. Parts she couldn't reach with her tongue. Parts she couldn't reach with her tongue. She let Keith scrape up with a gingerbread cookie and feed it to her.
Oh, it's so gross.
Mm.
It's so gross.
Ugh.
Really bad.
Keith got the step stool and placed it next to Nicole's chair so her face was level with his cock. He dipped his finger in frosting and spread it along the bottom of his shaft, forming a line of sugary, dripping liquid.
Can a guy get a UTI that way?
Yeah.
Definitely. Nicole started by licking his dick where the frosting threatened to drop down off him and onto the floor, and she didn't want to miss one drop.
Ugh.
She ran her tongue from the base of his cock all the way to his head. Liquid
Oh,
licking
typo.
up as much, yeah, I'm like liquid up, licking up as much of the frosting as she could, but not swallowing. Oh,
I'm in pain. I'm in like
gets
so
worse.
much pain right
he
now.
put his hand on Nicole's frosting and topping smeared face and guided her mouth down to the head of his cock. Nicole's first love might have been sugar and carbohydrates, but her second love was the taste of Keith's dick. She wished she could bottle that flavor up and sprinkle it on everything.
Ew.
Oh,
She
Ew.
puts cum
I'm
in her
in
coffee.
physical pain right now. Like I
his
could gag.
skin Oh my God. His skin had a subtle saltiness. You could barely
Yeah, 'cause
notice
it's
it if you
skin.
weren't trying to taste it, and his dripping pre-cum tasted like a sweet and tangy heaven. Ugh.
Hate it.
She sucked and licked on his head like a lollipop, savoring all of the frosting flavor still on his skin. That's why it tastes like anything, because you already have frosting in your mouth. Keith put his hand on the back of her head and pushed her mouth down slowly to the base of his cock. Nicole wiggled her head back and forth to massage his head on the back of her throat. She held him there as long as she could, struggling to breathe and still trying to lap up all the icing on his
Okay,
cock
hold the
with
phone.
her
So
tongue.
this was after their work day, though. So she's
Yeah, so he's got
like,
like
it's
chode
gonna
butter
be
going on.
the most swampiest
No.
of taint happening.
Yeah, but there's frosting, so it's fine. It
Oh,
masks the
God.
smell.
Okay.
It's not even that. Is how is like where's her gag reflex?
That
And
part.
she's eaten 200 cookies.
I'm
I
unwell.
hate this. This is cursed. All right, power through.
All right. Nicole tapped on his thigh to let him know that she needed to come up for air, and Keith stopped grasping her hair. She pulled her head all the way off of his dick, now dripping in a mixture of saliva and icing. While she was gasping for air and licking up all the sugary remnants on her lips, Keith picked up another cookie and made her eat it. She struggled to breathe and chew at the same time. This is abuse.
That's abuse. Don't do that. No, thank you.
Oh, okay. Nicole's jeans were digging into her stomach, and she had to unbutton and unzip them. Why even
I
have them
just-
on in the first
Who
place
works
at this
with
point?
jeans?
It's just one
In a
less,
bakery.
one more thing to clean at this point. Leaving a red ring around where her gut was constricted by the lining of her pants. I can feel this pain right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The second key. Another typo. The second Keith saw her. The second Keith saw her engorged belly jiggle out of her jeans and then finally rest, he knew he was going to come. He picked up 2 cookies while Nicole was still finishing the one she was chewing on and placed the treats on either one of her tits, sticking them to the frosting remnants that Nicole hadn't licked up yet. How much frosting was on there? Because if she licked up most of it and there's still frosting, like, did she have like 3 inches of
Buckets.
frosting?
Bucket.
Ugh.
Buckets.
Buckets. Nicole started to massage the red marks on her gut so she didn't itch them while they were expanding back into their normal spot.
That is
My
very
God, woman,
specific.
get some better pants. Dress
It's a lot.
appropriately.
Wow.
Seeing Nicole need her stomach was too much for Keith, and he couldn't contain himself. He kneeled down towards her and leaned on the wall behind her. I don't understand this. Furiously stroking his cock. Nicole stuck her tongue out to let the tip of his dick hit her tongue while he stroked himself.
Oh no.
The sight of her gingerbread stained tongue touching the tip of his cock sent him over the edge,
Gross.
and he shot spurt after spurt of warm jizz onto the gingerbread cookies he draped over Nicole's tits.
Is she gonna eat those?
Covered the hard cookies
Oh,
with
no!
his moist cum,
No.
making them nice and bendy. A few drops of his cum landed on Nicole's lips, and she
oh my
licked
God,
it
it's
up,
like
giving
getting me.
Keith an
Like,
idea.
that was not a fun burp. That was
Will you eat those for me? He asked her. Don't chew them. I want
Oh.
you to swallow them whole so I can watch you struggle to get them down. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That's impossible. And cum
Do you think I'll
cookies is
choke?
disgusting.
Nicole asked curiously, trying to decide if she would be able to do it. Keith reached down to poke one of the cookies. His jizz had already absorbed into the cookie, making it bendable. How watery is his jizz? Yeah, probably.
Very
Let's
absorbent
try.
cookie.
He said, putting the first cookie into her mouth and making sure she swallowed the whole thing before feeding her the second one. Like a good little stuffer, she did as she was told and always made room for dessert.
My God.
Oh,
The end.
oh my God.
1,000%
Wait.
that she puts cum in her coffee.
You know whose idea this was? kitties. And she's not even here.
Is the next part kitties that she...
She's fired. They're kicking her off of the pod.
I will say is this Kitty's revenge for me reading the Were Turkey?
I think so.
Wow.
This is
Wait,
this
so
is-
Kitty's not here with us today, and she pre-recorded her section, so you won't have our lovely commentary throughout it. But is hers the next section?
Hers is the last, or is it? It was
Or was
the
that-
the poem a prelude?
Like, was that the end,
I
or
don't
is
know.
there more?
Let's play it though.
I'm worried.
I'm gonna play it here
All right.
as her punishment. She's gonna be her
Roasted.
recording is gonna be on here.
But deep within her engorged depths, with a yawn, they took a breath. Oh, Jesus Christ, where are we now? I think we're in this goddamn cow. They looked around, their eyes grew wide. They accepted they were
What?
deep inside. Her acids bubbled, the liquids boiled. But we've only just awakened to this mortal coil. Covered in
Boy.
semen, it mixed with their egg and awakened the souls of these poor gingerbread. They sat atop their digested friends, mourning their quick, approaching, bittersweet end. You know, if I could have but just one wish, it would be to have one first and last kiss. The gingerbread man laughed and gave a snort. And to have just one petit mort. You know that does sound pretty enticing. Please
This is
let
unhinged.
me just taste all your icing. Put your gumdrop in my lips while I play with my candied nips. He looked at her in disbelief, with the acid dissolving their gingerbread reef. Okay, my sweet, I'm pretty keen to fuck you like my gingerbread queen. The stomach grumbled. They knew their doom. They knew they'd crumble in this tomb. He skipped to her, unzipped his slacks. I know you're scared, she said. Relax. She licked his tip and felt his heat. You taste so sugary sweet. He looked into her frosting eyes, said, Baby, you make my dough rise. If you don't slow down, I'm going to nutmeg. But fuck, you give amazing head. He pulled his cock out, dripping molasses. Turn around. I want to taste how delicious your ass is. He bent her over, legs asunder. Nicole's stomach echoing like thunder. Her legs were warm and sticky and damp. You want me to lick you, you little tramp? She moaned out a yes, and her legs began to shake and screamed, My ginger ass is yours to take. He stuck his ginger fist in her little hole and put his tongue upon her grassy knoll. Her clit was smooth and silky like butter. He lapped his tongue over it and made her shudder, then wrapped his lips around it and sucked it lightly. I'm gonna come, she said politely. She laid him down and lifted her dress, sat on his face so he could lick her mess. She bent down to his cookie waist, licked his tip to grab a taste, then swallowed him down her throat and gagged. Am I really that big? He laughed and bragged. She dug her hips down on his head. Shut up, you stupid gingerbread. She came all over his sugary face, spreading over him like a sweet paste. He licked his lips and threw her on the floor. Give me that ginger minge, you fucking whore. He plunged into her soft-baked cave and fucked her upon their acidic grave. He pushed inside and pulled her hair. Dick so big she felt like she might tear. She wrapped her legs around his cookie crust, making him able to do nothing but thrust. He kissed her neck and pounded her muff and hoped that she would like it rough. He flipped her over to hit it from the back, caressed her ass and gave it a smack. She gave a yelp and knew she was near. Will you come inside me, dear?
Aw.
Hearing his words didn't last long. He was about to fill her with his magnum dog. She pushed herself back to milk his dick, feeling his molasses made her slick. She clenched around him, and he made her yell, "Daddy, make me come in this gingerbread hell." His cock started to tremble and twitch. She needed to be filled to satisfy her itch. He filled her with his icing white nut and appeased her wish to be a little cum slut. "Fuck," he cried loudly. "Yes," she moaned proudly, their orgasms echoing in this cavernous gut. He made her feel like she was going to melt because she loved the way his thick cock felt. Deep inside her saccharine
She
womb,
is going
they
to be
closed
gingerbread
their
queen.
eyes and awaited their
Right?
fate.
I just
Were the cookies baked with cocks and vaginas?
yeah. So I
I have questions about how all this happened, and I'm really concerned for the author and their mental well-being.
like. I hope they're okay.
That
I do.
was so much.
And we do want to say, and I'm sure everybody else can probably agree, that if this is your flavor of coffee, that is totally fine.
Yep.
Enjoy yourself.
Yep.
I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but
Wow. Because, some people like that, and it's all good.
Sure.
However,
This is a professional food safe environment. That I will
We have questions
I will yuck the yum of you should not tamper with bodily fluids in a food production area.
that's where you're buying your cookies from, and there's just fucking cum all over the place. Ugh.
they are artistic cookies.
You bought your kindergartner's birthday cupcakes at this place?
God,
Bakery Gate.
Bakery Gate. My other question too is why did that sound like a perfect Dr. Seuss? Well, like
The poem was perfect.
it sounded
was
like Dr. Seuss wrote
unhinged.
it. That terrible, terrible man. But
It was divining.
I must say, I love the tone that Kitty read it in.
Yep,
perfect.
it was beautiful.
No notes.
Kitty to have her side hustle be reading for Audible
I would listen
our
to
smut
Kitty.
books. Like,
Yeah.
I
I'm
would.
just gonna hire her.
I mean, wasn't that kind of how this started a little bit? Someone said they would just listen to me and Kitty ramble
Yes.
about
yes.
smut
Yes.
for a period of
And this is how I conned you into actually doing it. So
Yeah. I will say, I thought it was a joke initially, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And then it's like, oh, we're actually
Oh,
doing
here we
this.
are.
So this
Whoops.
I'm just
Like
really
a-
good at conning people. It's
I
fine.
love
we're
it.
such a bro. Like, thought we were like so funny. So let's do a podcast.
We're so funny.
We should do a
We should-
podcast, guys. We're so funny.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Everybody
We are
Listen.
hilarious.
Mean. We are.
Well, now I feel icky.
Yeah, I
Yep.
do feel
I-
gross.
It's
I
gonna be my bedtime soon, and
now
that
you're gonna
worries
think
me.
about that going into bed.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely
don't
need a
think the shower's
shower.
fixing this.
Yep.
Yeah. I was hoping for maybe some sexy times tonight and maybe
Not.
Ted's
I
gonna
don't
be
know
like,
if I
what
can get-
happened? I'm gonna be like, don't ask.
Don't
Just-
ask. We ruined it.
It was the wrong kind.
We'll
I'm
try
sorry.
again tomorrow.
I was gonna get high and have some cookies, and now
I don't
don't
think
know
you
if I
want
want
cookies
them.
right now.
I don't want cookies.
I
right
would.
now.
I think I might
Maybe-
look down
maybe
on
some
you if
chips.
you have cookies.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe some pretzels.
yeah.
You know, something
Not. Yeah.
bakery related.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I'm staying away from the bakery for a little bit.
Yeah. Like I said, I got a lot of questions about
I think I might go to Walmart's bakery because they're
Everything's
probably
prepackaged.
following standards.
I'm actually gonna avoid small local bakeries.
This has scared me off local. Thank you. God, yeah, that was
I'll
very
take those
special.
preservatives,
I
thank
will
you.
say that was I think that was a special reading.
Yeah.
I am gonna count this as payback for the Were Turkey. I'm very sorry, Kitty. Please don't do this to again. Us to we don't.
Yeah.
We don't need
I
this
would
to
I
happen.
think-
to apologize to our listeners for putting you through that.
Mhm.
Please stay with us.
if you stuck it out to the end, we are very grateful.
Very
and
let
we
us
love
know.
you.
I'm questioning
know.
if Kitty actually did have, a family emergency today, or if this was all just a plot.
This is a long con.
Mhm.
She was just sitting at home cackling, going, "The stupid bitches."
Yeah. We need to let
probably
Ivy
was.
know. Yeah, we need to let Ivy know that they really lucked out on this.
On
Yes.
this one, yeah.
Ivy's like, "Oops, a birth in the family."
Oops.
Yeah,
Oops.
Ivy was in on it too, probably. They're all conspiring against
Conspiracy for everything.
us. Mm-hmm,
So yeah, that was thank you for reading. Thank you for sticking with us with the gingerbread madness. What we're gonna be doing. So our next episode, I understand a lot of people feel a lot of pressure about New Year's. Our next episode will be coming up after the New Year's has ended, come about. No? Am I still on an oopsie corner?
The next episode will come out on the 29th.
All right, so you'll be getting ready for your New Year's. I'm not completely high on cough medicine.
But it'll be Pedro Zaddy.
Oh, Pedro Zaddy. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
We've got some fun things planned. We'd love to hear from you guys to get ready for future episodes as far as what you're planning on, how you plan your reading lists, X, Y, and Z into the new year. We are not going to be trying to tell you how to organize your life because we don't know how to organize our own. But we are going to try to convince all of you to read one book series from each of us because we're bringing back the high we got in middle school from doing a perfect book report. So be ready. If you have a book you want to talk about or you think that should be considered for some of our perfect book reports, obviously email us. But in addition, just because we've discovered a new subgenre of fanfic, if you know anything about Pedro Pascal in any kind of Mandalorian fix, we want to hear it. We've got a
Please send them our way.
we've got a hankering for the Zaddy. We need him. And then also I'm giving you an internet gold star for listening to us struggle through that 13-page horror story. You can mark that as read on your Goodreads. I won't tell anyone you didn't read it.
Know that we didn't enjoy that.
Not a bit. If you did, I'm happy there's a 13-pager for you. If you didn't, welcome to the Trauma Club. We are ordering jackets.
Yeah.
Fairly soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add to the merch.
Yeah, that's all.
You know what I need to help cleanse my palate after that? A crab rangoon.
I would love a
Yes.
crab rangoon right now.
That would fix everything.
It would.
I feel like it's the only thing that would bring me health
Mhm.
mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Marie, you son of a bitch. Marie just held up a Chinese food takeout container in the call. This is horse shit. I'm outraged.
Last time, everybody was having them, and I was at home not having any, unfortunately. So
Okay, fair.
Got
It's your turn for the rangoon.
I'm jealous.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
Yep. Bye. Happy
Bye.
holidays. Thank you so much for listening to the Feral Friday podcast. Join us every Friday for unhinged shenanigans, books, games, and more. You can find us on Instagram at Feral Friday Pod. Did you know we have a website? Visit us at www.feralfridaypod.com. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like us to cover a particular book or series, please send us an email at bferal@feralfridaypod.com. Happy reading!